Number 3.
It's weird. I think it's the Eagles, and I don't know if they're good. They're bad defensively. Now, some of that's Green Bay's great offensively. But let's be honest. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, 75 yards plus rushing. Saquon Barkley over 100 yards. Jalen Hurts. They got nothing but weapons offensively, and this is an offensive league. Well, their defense isn't good. Well, the Jets' defense was atrocious last night, and that's supposed to be a good one. The Ravens' defense is supposed to be a good defense. Kansas City did whatever they wanted. I mean, you keep telling me about all these great defenses. Does it matter? At the end of the year, it's all offenses. All I see with Philadelphia is playmakers everywhere, all over the field. So even though Jalen Hurts had some turnovers, they were a machine. I think Green Bay could get to the Super Bowl, and Green Bay couldn't stop them.
Okay, so again, I said this in a previous video. I really credit Colin because he had them last week. He had the Eagles 9th, and now he drops them to 3, or raises them to 3, however we want to word it. And yeah, credit to him. I love that he never just double downs on his takes, and he's just, you know, very fluid and adaptable in that regard. And I think that's accurate. I really do. I think it's fair to put them behind the Chiefs and the 49ers. The Lions and the 49ers just ultimately played a cleaner game to me. But I agree. I think the Packers are a top team in the NFL with a healthy Jordan Love. And I agree the Packers could get to the Super Bowl. I mean, I think they are that good. So the fact that the Eagles gave up 29 points to me is not an indictment on their defense, quite frankly. Listen, am I going to tell you that I think the Eagles have like a top 3 defense in the NFL? No. But at the same time, like, I don't think they have a bad defense. This idea of like, oh, well, the Packers hung 29 on them. Clearly they're not good. It's like, I don't think that's fair. I really don't. Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur are an elite duo together. Maybe not elite, but they're a top duo together, right? Like they are next level. They were humming along, right? I mean, they dominated the Dallas Cowboys last season, obviously, as we all know, right? And now the Eagles were like, they manned up. They looked significantly better. They were physical. They were tough. And their defense, in all the major defensive categories, the Eagles had at least one player in the top 5 in all of them. So we can't just say that their defense wasn't good. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Of course, they are an offensively driven team. And Jalen Hurts does need to play better. He does need to clean up some aspects of his game, which I think will happen. I think that game was always going to be a hard fought, tough, even ugly-ish game. And it was clear because both teams it got ugly. The field was slippery, right? Like things were not going planned for both teams initially. Both quarterbacks were uncomfortable at times. But the truth is, when Jalen Hurts needed to step up, when he needed to step up, he did. I mean, like it was remarkable. The final 5 minutes of that game and going for it on 4th down before the 2-minute warning, like all of that was just awesome. It was courageous. It was winning football. Saquon Barkley absolutely hit the ground running. All this questions about who will Saquon be? Did they overpay for him? He was just as good as advertised. I think Vic Fangio definitely has that defense going a lot better. I just think it's hard to gauge how good a defense is against someone as great as Jordan Love. They were the best team offensively in the last 10 games of the last season. And they're continuing that trend. They're continuing to be a great team. And like Colin always says, these great quarterbacks and great offensive head coaches week 1 typically look great. That you give them weeks and weeks and weeks to game plan. Well, that's Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love. So that's why you get these 29 point you give up 29 points. But also credit to Colin, like he said, the Packers were a top team and they couldn't stop them. They could not stop Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. And when you think about it, like Jalen Hurts did turn the ball over a couple times, and yet they still hung up 34 points. That's remarkable. That is really remarkable. So I just think it was a very impressive win. Like I said, the Eagles absolutely have some aspects of their game that they need to clean up, and I think they will. This is now officially like the first real week that both coordinators get to look at film with these guys. Of course, they were looking at film and looking at stuff and working at stuff, but it was based off of previous understanding, previous games that were played without them as their coordinators. And so I think now they have film, they have it with their actual coordinators, with Vic Fangio, with Kellen Moore, and I think we're going to continue to see the Eagles progress and get better. Just like we talk about a lot of these young quarterbacks, how like they're going to get better throughout the season. I think the Eagles, with new coaches, with new identities, with new game plans and approaches, they're going to continue to grow and get better. Some of these other teams, I'm like, well, this is who they are for the most part, right? Like I don't see how some of these teams are going to get better because maybe the coaches and quarterbacks have been together for a long time. They're more seasoned veterans, whatever it may be. I think the Eagles, considering that they're integrating some new pieces like Saquon, like new coordinators, they're going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to get better. And so I think the fact that they were able to beat a great team like the Green Bay Packers 34-29 week 1 and not play their best ball goes a long way. And to compare it to last season, the Eagles started the season off 10-1, and they kept winning. And this was an unpopular opinion at the time, but I don't think they ever really looked that good. They were able to find a way, and you could argue, hey, they found a way, they won ugly. That's just, you got to give them the credit. You could say that, but watching those games, you just never really felt, I don't really feel like the Eagles are in control. If anything, it actually feels more lucky that the game's even close, not that they won. Now, I do think that the Eagles could have lost this game and the Packers could have won. I think that for a few teams, right? The Ravens versus the Chiefs, the Lions versus the Rams. So so the fact that the Eagles were still able to pull it off, I still think goes a long way. But more importantly, watching that game, you think the Eagles are in control. The Eagles deserve to be in this game. Whether they win or lose, they deserve to be in it, and they're a team that's more deserving to win. I think last season, a lot of those close games that the Eagles ended up winning, you could have said this is probably more about the other team losing. This was more about the Bills losing that game, the Chiefs losing that game, whoever it may be. This was not about the Green Bay Packers losing this game. This was about the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game, overcoming the adversity of not only just the score in a tough game, but some interceptions, but also the field conditions, whatever it may be. And they just proved to be the better team week 1. So I'm really excited to see how they continue to progress, how the offense continues to evolve. Jalen Hurts' evolution as a quarterback with Kellen Moore. It was already a massive improvement from the coordinators last year. And so to me, week 1, just exciting stuff to see. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles going from 9th to 3rd, which I did put in a video. I did put in a video saying, hey, I think this is, too low. They should be higher up in the rankings. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really, really excited to be part of. And I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.